Hey everybody, Justin Senior here. We are going to be talking about targeting, specifically, are your customers here? This is the first section of the targeting section of this course. So, on social media, like I said, the most important question you could ask are your customers here? And on social media, we're talking about 1.5 billion active users. Do you think that your customers are included in that massive number? I'm almost positive they are. I don't care if you're selling a physical product, a digital product, maybe you're selling consulting services or physical training services or whatever it is in terms of your product. There's going to be a really great chance that you're going to be able to reach them on social media. Again, we're talking about 1.5 billion people that are active users on these networks. You're going to be able to find, not only a great number of people inside your target demographic, but you're going to be able to find a really, really, really super targeted audience of your ideal customer. You're going to really be able to build that customer profile out and really reach them in a really dynamic way on these on the social networks. So, what we need to do, basically, to answer that question, are your customers here? What we need to do is prove that they are reachable with just some very basic research. So in this section about Facebook, we're going to be talking about how we can actually find where we're going to target these people and how we're going to target them. And again, this is just in some very basic research. This is not going to be the research that is going to carry you through your ads. This is basically just going to prove the assumption that social ads will work and they'll be reachable in terms of your demographics. So how are we going to do that? We have to answer the question, of course. We're going to answer all your customers here through basic research. So let's take the nurse niche, for example. And I don't care. You could be selling physical products. Maybe it's a T-shirt or a piece of jewelry. Maybe you're selling a digital product like an ebook on the best nursing schools. Whatever it is, this is how you're going to kind of get started in terms of doing some basic research. So you're going to want to ask yourself the question, can you reach nurses via targeting? And more specifically, what do they like? What do they self-declare? And what I mean by that is, are nurses kind of declaring through Facebook? Are they putting in their profile that they are nurses? Are they declaring that job title? And you'll see why that's so important inside of the actual ad editor. You're going to be able to target people based on their job title. So you want to know what are they self-declaring? Are nurses declaring themselves as nurses, registered nurses, pediatric nurses, et cetera, et cetera? You want to think about where do they buy? You're trying to sell them a product. Wouldn't it be great if you knew where these people already bought? I think that would be that's always a great way to start in terms of your targeting. What do they read? Who do they follow? Who are the influencers in the niche? You're going to think about all those questions, and then basically what you're going to do. And we're going to go over this in a second over the shoulder, but what you're going to do is go in and prove that you can reach those customers and you can reach those targets. So before going forward with your ad strategy, you need to make sure that your audience is represented via targetable interests and or demographics. So what I mean by that is, you need to make sure that, in terms of answering the questions, what do they like? What do they self-declare? Where do they buy? What do they read? You want to be able to answer those questions and then use those answers to go over into the Facebook Ads Manager. We're going to do that in a second. And you want to make sure that those are targetable interests. And that's what you're going to basically build your ad on. So without further ado, let's kind of just jump right in and let's go over the shoulder real quick and let's do an example of basic research. Okay, so here we are over the shoulder and we are just at facebook.com/business. Or you can get there by going to facebook.com/ads. Basically, this is just the homepage for your Facebook for Business account. So, again, we're just doing some basic research here. We just want to prove that your niche is targetable on Facebook. So we're just going to basically pretend that we're going to create an ad. So click Create an Ad here. It's going to kind of load the editor. And then you're going to see all these different objectives. Now, we're going to definitely get into these in depth. We're going to talk about exactly what you want to focus on in here. But for now, let's just click Send People to Your Website. We just want to basically get into the interest editor here. We want to get into the portion where we can actually show different interests and demographics to target. So we're just going to put any link in here for now. We don't even need to put in a pixel. Don't worry about anything. We're just going to go right to the Set Audience and Budget page. And this is the section that we're concerned about in terms of doing basic research. So here you can see, it says right here, who do you want your ads to reach? And remember, we want to answer the question, can we reach our audience on Facebook? So we're going to see right inside here, just very generally, are we able to reach our niche? So let's go back to that nurse niche example. So let's say we want to reach nurses in here. We don't need to be, an expert in the space at all. All we want to do is just prove that there are some ways to reach nurses in here so we can kind of pick that it is a good niche to move forward with and continue our research. So again, this is the basic research video. So we're just going to be really typing in some of the broad terms here and just want to see what comes up. And you'll see I just typed in one word and you'll see how they give some great recommendations. We'll actually cover that in a future video talking about the idea of how these recommendations and suggestions can really expedite the time it takes to do research. So I just put in nurse and I'm seeing all these different things here. Nurse is an interest, registered nurse as an interest, and already we have over 5 million people. That's a great sign. Here's another 1.8 million, another million. So clearly there's some good sizing here in terms of interest that we can target. You also see down here we have job titles. So that's an interesting thing. So we could target by interest. We could also target by job titles. And wouldn't it be great to target nurses that self-declare as their job title on Facebook that they're a nurse practitioner? I bet you that we would have a really good converting ad if we do something like this. Here's another interesting thing, field of study. So that's something, these people self-declared that they went to school to study to be a nurse practitioner. So again, that's going to be a really, really good option when we're going to go and actually build our ads and our interest groups. Going down here, we see more job titles, more interests, another 900,000 people in this interest group. More job titles, interest. These are all really, huge sizes too. So just in one term that we put in here, we're able to already prove that there is a great deal of nurses and nurses-related interests in Facebook that we can target. So this is a definitive yes in terms of answering the question, can we reach our customers on Facebook? I mean, look at all of these interests that we've only found just on one term. And I'm going to show you how to do full interest research and how to uncover all the important ones. But again, this is just a basic research thing, so we don't even need to go any further. Let's look at another example. Let's say another popular one would be pit bulls, right? Everyone always talks about pit bull examples. So let's see what's in there. And again, we're just typing in the broad word here. This is just basic research. Remember, we're trying to prove we're trying to answer the question, can we reach these people on Facebook? So here's a 2.8 and a 345. Some big sizes here right on the bat. A couple that are over 100,000, a couple that are over 1 million. So definitely a good sign here. We're seeing mostly interest, so that's something to take note. Maybe if you're going to work in the pit bulls niche, you're not going to be really doing demographic or demographic targeting, job title targeting, things like that. College majors, that's not going to really apply here. And that's okay. You're not going to need to use every single type of interest group or demographic or interest level. But, it's just worth noting, in terms of what to expect. Look, I'm scrolling all the way through here. I haven't seen one demographic. They're all interest in here. But tons and tons and tons of pit bull related interests. These are going all the way down the list. And these first recommendations, there's probably about 40 interests here. And they all look like they're pretty good. They're all involving pit bulls. Pit bulls save lives. Pit bull needs us. Pit bull and itty pitties. You could bet that these contain buyers if you're advertising pit bull products. So again, a definitive yes in terms of being able to target these people on Facebook. So there you go. These are two examples of how to do that. Perform some basic research on your own. Remember, you're just going into Facebook ads, and you're just going to basically create a mock ad. You could send them to any website. We're going to delete this ad. We're basically just going to close the window when we're done. We don't need to save it or anything. We just wanted to get into the ad set level here. And as it says right here, the ad set is where you define your audience, which is, again, your interests, and budget and schedule. We'll talk about all this in terms of how to create the different types of ads. But remember, for research purposes, we just want to be in the ad set level so we can get to this section, the who do you want your ads to reach section. And this is where we're going to go over, all the basic research, all the demographics in here. As I said, let's say we want to go after, moms. Maybe we want to do moms who like pit bulls. Then we could start selecting the demographics for moms. We'll cover this all in future videos, but just remember this section is where we want to be when we want to be doing our interest research.